G'day, and welcome back to Torment Tides of Ranmenera. Last time round, we had a strange conversation with a fella over here. This guy who happens to have a maw in his chest, and not part of his clothing, literally in his chest. But by using a knife on him, we managed to cut this fella out and trigger a conversation with Rhin.
Yes?
So let's chat with Rhin, shall we?
I need someone to talk to. I need to talk to you.
She clutches your hand but won't look into your eyes. Of course, Rhin. What is it? Even though she said she needed to talk, she hesitates. It's about my memories. I feel I should be able to remember more by now, but I don't. I can't. I can't remember my parents' names. Why can't I? I can't remember why I left them, or how I got to Sega's Cliffs, or anything that happened to me before that horrible slave Atoll captured me. Let's go. Why do you think that is? I don't know. The memories are there. I know it. Just like those thugs knew I was in the house on the cliff's edge. I can feel the memories, hear them, but when I look for them, they aren't there. How long have they been gone? When was the last time you remember them? You remember remembering them? They were gone when I met Atero. They were gone when I made Arl. They were gone when I hurt my... She touches the scar. No, they weren't. I knew my parents, remembered them in the cage. It was only afterward, when I ran from Toll, when I... She yanks Arl from her pockets and holds him in front of her face. Arl, do you know about this? She cocks her head, the way she does when she listens to him. A worried expression blooms on her face. Suddenly she gasps. A tear drips from the corner of one eye. It was Arl, wasn't it? He hid your memories from you. Yes! Then she says to the stone, Why? Why did you do this? She listens more. You hear something, like a bird rustling in its egg. You can't tell if it's from the stone or from something else. Her head still cocked, Rhin speaks to you. Her voice strangely flat. He's been hiding parts of my memory from the beginning. He wanted me to blend in, to avoid undue attention, and he was worried. He thought if I knew the truth, I would have given up long ago, from the beginning. Tell me then, she says to the stone. Her face reddens, angrier than you've ever seen her. What have you been keeping from me? She listens for what seems like a long time, her expression increasingly frightened as she does. Finally, she lets her hands fall and she tells you, I ran away. I was angry at them, my parents. Something stupid. Something we'd fought over 100 times. But this time I left. I packed my things, took my coat, and when the moon was high, I just walked out.
I'm starting to figure this weird place out.
I thought I was prepared. I thought I was safe, but they attacked me. No, I shouldn't say their name. Soldiers. It doesn't matter. Her knuckles whiten around the stone. I ran. They ran faster. I made a god somehow, a god of going forth. I must have cut my way into this world and fallen through it. I guess it saved my life, but then the slavers, my head, Arl. She scowls and shuts the stone. You kept it from me. You walked into my mind and stole from me. I can never forgive you. Never. She pulls back and throws the stone as far as she can manage. Then she collapses to her knees, her shoulders shuddering with each sob. He hid your thoughts from me too, Rhin. When you didn't know or ask, he's just trying to protect you. That's true, but is that any better than what you do? I don't know. I don't know. She stares on her knees for a while longer, wiping her tears away. Occasionally, finally, she looks over to where she threw Arl. He's a friend. You don't throw away your friends. She stands and walks over to the stone. She stares at it for a while and says, I can't forgive you, Arl. Not yet. But you are my friend. She bends down and picks him up, then places him gently into her pocket. We should go, she says without looking at you. We need to go. Okay, that was pretty cool. Plus XP, so she gets the level. Okay, let's give her an increased edge. We're going to give you more speed. And Eritus, you also get to rank up. And so you have to get extra effort. And now you are tier 4. So you do extra damage each time you crit. You permanently do extra damage. Okay, what do we got? Drink to the dregs max effort on attacks. Ignore the flanked fiddle. Counterattack. Opportunist and counterattack end the target's turn on hit. That's kind of neat. These are all kind of cool. But I think I'd rather Brawler, because he's our tank. We'll boost heavy weapons. Because that's what we've been giving him, so all looks good. Okay, cool. And what do we... Actually, while we're at it, so we're pretty close to our first rank up at tier 4 ourselves, but it's not going to be a big one. And Makina is pretty close to getting a little bit higher, but I've only got one tier 4 companion. Cool. Alrighty. Let's talk with Quezimian, I guess. This pale, ghostly figure wears outlandish clothes and a horned helm. Opaque, tangled scars from an unfamiliar weapon loop and curl over his transparent body. Oh, you! Have you found my brother yet? One of these trips I'll stop being surprised. Was I supposed to be looking for him? Really? You told me you'd... He slaps his forehead. The impact makes his helm tilt forward and he puts up his hand to hold it in place. Oh right! This is the first time we meet, isn't it? Hello, I'm Quezimian. I've been traveling through time looking for my brother for millions of years. Nice to meet you. Betty tries this time. Won't my hand go... right, yes. Won't my hand go through yours? Damn! Every time we do this, I hope you'll fall for it. And you almost never do. Nice. At any rate, let me know if you see my brother, huh? You came out of that moor. Are you connected to the bloom? The what? No, I'm not. I just sort of, well, swim between places, following currents, you know. Someone pulled a plug and here I am. How many times have we spoken? Good question. Thousands, I'd say. Always a pleasure, mind you, though I don't know why we keep running into each other. I don't see anyone else more than once. If I'd have to guess, say it's your relationship with the tides, but I don't mind. It's nice seeing a familiar face. She is probably the closest thing to a friend I have. What are the scars from? Scars? Oh, these do look painful. Have to say, glad I don't remember. Are you a ghost? I like to think so, but I don't really remember dying, just the traveling and searching. You'd think this helmet wouldn't keep moving around if I was, spectral. On the other hand, I seem to remember promising my brother I'd haunt him when I died, so that's some evidence for the other side. And what does your bro look like? Well, sort of like me, minus the helmet, and he's from a world long ago, so he might be wearing... Alright, I do this every time we meet. It's just that I usually go centuries between running into you and always forget. You can't have possibly seen him. Still, let me know if you see him, huh? It's always worth a shot. I won't give up on him. What's a helmet about, anyway? So glad you asked. I love this story. I ended up on this battlefield once. It hadn't gone well for the side wearing these helmets. I walked up this blackened hill, following the shouting, and I saw... It was probably a city once, but it was on fire and covered in black flames. There were 2 fighters left, the big man wearing this helmet and her. She was huge, made of screaming shadows in that same black fire. When the warrior charged her, roaring, she just touched him and he fell over, twitching and burning. One of these times she told me she was called The Sorrow. Since this is the first time we've met, I'm guessing you have some questions for me. Sorrow destroyed a city? A big one, around the size of 3 Saguses and a bloom, but the people of the city were abusing the tides in some way? From what you told me about the Sorrow, that kind of thing makes her really unhappy. But I don't think they deserve to vanish, despite what they'd done. So I took the helmet off the warrior when it, stopped melting a bit. Now I carry it with me to remind me of him. Hold on, you know about the tides? Of course I do. Sorry, I forgot. First time, I know. Well, they pull me from place to place like normal tides do. That's why I keep seeing different times and places. Never stop in any one place for long. Tides don't rest, and neither do I. It's a little tiring sometimes, or at least I think I'm tired, which is probably the same thing. Hey, can you actually sense the tides flowing through me? Nah. Well, let's fix that. Before you can react, you thrust all 5 fingers through your chest. The feeling isn't unpleasant. In fact, you feel the tides surging through his arm, through you. You see them curving back over your shoulders and back through him, binding you together. There! Should be easier for you to sense the tides now. Just remember she's out there. Flowing around with the tides doesn't seem to make her mad. Abusing him? I don't recommend it. Increased our tidal affinity. Nice. Cool. Alright, let's talk with Aen Tazon again, then. You recognize Rhin, don't you? I believe I do. You came through me, didn't you, my dear? Yes, I mean, you were there when I came through, but what do you mean I came through you? You emerged from another world while I was feeding on the dying love between a married couple. I don't know why you ran off. Would have been happy to help you find your way home after I'd finished eating. I was scared of everything. I apologize for my rudeness. I was not well. She grabs your arm. She obviously trying to contain her emotion, but she bounces on the balls of her feet. The corners of her mouth curl and uncurl in an irrepressible grin. This is it. My way home. So, what do I need to send her home? My maw does not open when I will it. It requires sustenance. The bands of love and hate that bind us. Find me someone who feels strongly for you, and we will secure a path home for the little one. Okay. So, we need to destroy a relationship. That's gonna be interesting. Let's chat with Wanda over here, see if there's someone we can talk to there, while we try and figure out what to do about that. As you approach this bulk of stone and fur, it begins to move, becoming less of an inanimate object and more of a man. Before you stands a giant figure with a beard so thick it seems like sculpted granite, but when you see his gentle eyes and a tangible wave of peace washes over you. I'm happy to see you, Adon. He speaks carefully as though every word is a step upon icy ground. You have been gone too long. The Peacebringer, it would be good to repay my debt to her. She is a good woman. I'm not the woman you think I am. Gentle confusion crinkles the mutant's stony brow, making a sound like boulders shifting against one another. It is me, Adon. Wonder. Perhaps it's been too long. Perhaps you do not remember me. His shoulder sags as he says, I'm sorry I made you unhappy. Do not be sorry. You must help people. It was foolish to think you would remember me. It does not help her. I will help her if I can. Have you returned? Why have you returned, Adon? Can I help you in any way? How are you? Better than before. Better than before we met. There was a sadness in me, rage and sadness, fed by many thoughts, but you found the stranger inside me and took it out. Since that day, I have felt peace. Who is this stranger you mentioned? I don't know, but it entered my head in the accident. It was heavy, like a golden stone. It made my thoughts faster, but sharper. They made me sad. They made me angry. The warmth of a smile ripples across his face. But you told me you could help. You took out the device, took away the dangerous thoughts, leaving me calm. You said you had more use for the thoughts than I did. What accident? I don't remember. The stranger held the memories and the pain. The stranger is gone. You took it. What were the thoughts? They are hard for me to remember now, but it was my voice. You should not have left them, it said. They are all gone because of you, it said. You must learn from this, it said. But when I tried to learn from the thoughts, they increased. They shouted. They would not leave me alone. I think you can help me. I think you can help me open Aeon Tizon's Maw. Wanda turns ponderously to stare at the man who stands some distance away. Of course, anything for you. Nodding so forcefully that his body sways. Anything for you, Adon. I will join you when you speak to him next. Okay, this seems possibly unethical, but whatever. I can't come up with a good justification for this. Oh, or I could do this. That's a good question. I can just use the scalpel. My friend Wanda will help me feed you. Oh, let's just, I kind of want to do the scalpel thing. Yes, cut open Aeon Tizon's Maw with the transdimensional scalpel and send Rhin home. You lunge at the man, yank aside his clothes, run the scalpel through the Maw's fibrous lips. The bloom howls in fury and the red walls around you clench and shake. Rhin screams, yet Aeon Tizon's eyes are glazed over. He seems oddly unaware of what you're doing to him. The Maw peels open and you squint as a sudden bright light filters into the darkness of the bloom. You breathe involuntarily as a sharp pungent smell strikes your nostrils. As your eyes adjust, you see green grass, bushes and trees. So many trees. It seems like Aeon Tizon isn't even there anymore. Just this window into another world. Rhin stares, tears falling freely down her face. She looks at you and her face falls. I don't know what to do. She looks to the Maw and then back to you. Now that I'm here. Go, Rhin. It's your home. Your family. It's not like... Yeah, definitely. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. She lunges forward, throwing her arms around you. She squeezes you tightly, crying into your chest for several moments. Finally, she pulls away and puts something into your hand. Gold tide raised by a huge amount. I made a god for you, a god of friends and finding. I don't know how strong he is, but maybe he'll help us see each other again one day.
I'll remember that.
Come on, Al. I want to show you, well, everything. She steps forward, oblivious or unheeding to the fact she's walking into a person. She doesn't care. She's finally home. The Moor seals itself behind her. Shaking, dazed, Aeontas uncloses now bloody clothing over the wounded Moor and gives you a tremulous smile. He seems blissfully unaware that anything happened. Goodbye, Rhin. We'll miss you. Okay, so this... she gave you this very small knife before she returned to her world. She called it a god of friends and finding. She admitted it might not be very strong, but she hoped it would help you and her to find each other again one day. The blade is dull, and it is too small to be of any use as a weapon. Okay, that was really cool. Also, if we can just... I think this is going to have very negative consequences later on when we deal with the bloom, but fuck it. I kind of like not having to pay them more prices. Okay. Let's see. I can now use you to grab Tiber. Ooh. What happens if I press the tree sigil? The button depresses only slightly. You hear a brief shriek that sounds like Rhin, then the button stubbornly rises again. Examining it more closely, you see two concentric circles at the foot of the tree. Look suspiciously like Rhin's god Al. Suddenly, a flash of light forces you to shield your eyes, and when you look at it again, the circles and tree sigil are gone. Hold the orb up to the light again. Light sparkles off of the sphere. The moment you spotted before, there's no sign. Is nowhere to be seen. Let's grab Tiber. Sure, lass. Let me find my trousers and I'll be right there.
Never felt better than I do right now.
Okay, so we got Tiber. He's not great because he's never really gotten a chance to level up, but who cares? What happens if I go down to this moor?
I'm there, in the shadows.
Can I open it with the scalpel? Quick question. Yes, I can. Alrighty, let's leave that for now. We just know that we've got a key. We have a universal key. No wonder it's got Eox's name on it.
Ready.
What interesting device. Let's talk with Crimper. This filthy old man is dressed in a motley of rags, arranged artfully to emphasize the inhuman reach of his needle-like fingers and the two protruding humps on his back, as if mutations are a source of pride. He wears smoked goggles on his head, parked above his transparent eyelids and noseless face. His teeth are small, even, and shining white. He shows them as often as he smiles to himself. His pockets are filled with trinkets and baubles that is picked from piles of trash. Ah, what have we here? Who comes to disturb old Crimper? Have you come to search this bounty with me? You're welcome to share. Share, you hear? Seems... What are you doing here? He lowers his head and grumbles. What does it look like I'm doing? I dig and I answer questions for fools. Not everything that a trash heap is trash, but wastrels abound. Why waste? Why waste indeed? He combs through a mound of trash with uncanny speed and precision. Tourists, always bothering Crimper. Ever found anything of value here? His tone instantly softens, sounding almost pleased. Oh yeah, people is all kinds of treasure in the trash. He sits back and pushes his goggles up. Unexploded detonations, blocks of metal that spark and steam with nanospirit swarms, a marble with cloud of insects inside, half-used healing injectors, a Coloxtrian Asvail even. That brought me many shins. Oh, perhaps Crimper was wrong. Perhaps this one is interested. What's the best item you found here? Oh yeah, it was this. He fumbles around in his pockets, slapping at his shapeless rags before reaching his hidden stash and pulls something out. It's an ugly vomit green cylinder made of organic material, about half the size of a forearm, covered in knots and whorls and tendrils. It looks like it might still be alive. Found this a year ago, hidden near Cargotto's tank. Would have missed it if it hadn't wriggled. Listen. He squeezes it and sets it down. The thing begins to sing in a slow, discordant tone. The device shivers and rolls around on the ground, hooting and piping through tiny mouths in its tendrils and whirls, then issues a melancholy belch. The mouths are closed and the thing ceases movement and sound. I laugh every time. I had to shed blood for this one. Some human taught to take it from me. He drops it into one of his outer pockets. It's me only comfort the night young Gutley disappeared. Help me through it did. What It seems like little Niliash has an awful lot of trash. Ah, yes, this is a midden for the balloons, to be sure. Across the many chambers and cavities, none of them have this kind of refuse. We mutants don't make this much mess, and you piles of garbage appear daily. So much work. Okay. No, I'm not going to try and steal his little music box, you jerk. Child, you ask plenty of questions about the refuse and hidden treasures down here. Not so much about finding treasures of your own. Ever dreamed of picking your future from the ground? I can show you, yes. An apprentice, maybe. Haven't had someone learn from me since young Gottlieb. I'd be happy to learn whatever you have to teach me. Good, good. The first possession in your hands should be on your hands. A trash picker needs gloves or skin like synth. Stone, glass, and udger combine in these piles. Like as not, some sharp will pierce your skin. You want none of that fluid in your core, child. Learn the crimper here. A paw of wrong, not right between the ears. He continues in that vein for some time, leading you to various trash piles. This one picked clean. See how the piles strewn, and behold, pile of last resort. You want those relatively undisturbed. You spend some time looking for newer piles, and you're rewarded with the pleasure of sifting through some organic goop and ancient chemical tailings, but eventually find something that may be useful, and you pocket it. Intricate patterns carved on the side, fits comfortably in your hand, spreads warmth throughout your body. Okay. Continue. Now over here. The others hit the pile quick, not deep. You want to go deeper than the surface. But you need to go fast and careful. He shows you how to dig through the large pile and quickly and safely, maneuvering around the jagged chunks of broken synth, shattered strong glass, and splintered wood. At the end you find an interesting piece, and you take that too. You learn quickly. You have a true gift. Come back and share some time with me, child. Having paid careful attention to Crimper's lessons, you feel you could now locate other treasures in the trash of Little Niliash. Okay, so firstly, that oddity and this one. So here's the Everlit. It's basically looks like an ordinary white candle set on a metal base. Its material is firm, pliable, but doesn't burn or melt. There's no wick. An illegible inscription is engraved on the metal base. When you turn your eyes away, a flickering flame lights up the room, casting dancing shadows. The flame always disappears when you look back. And this, I can use it. Intricate pattern. Let's try using the spirit cube. You hold the small metal cube in the palm of your hands. It spreads warmth throughout your body. You can barely make out a soothing voice whispering softly. Listen closely. Putting your ear close to the cube, the words are starting to become clear, if fragmentary. Mighty warlords, yet so small. So you shall understand me, your help, not free, wisdom to bestow like so. It rapidly rattles off a series of instructions and starts repeating them. You're not entirely sure you can follow them or what would happen if you do. Okay, let's try and figure out the instructions. Easy as! You can figure out most of the instructions. Once the intelligence points them out, the connectors and activation methods seem obvious, but a few steps are explained in an obscure manner. Go back to go forward, revolve the crux, go forward to go back, only now final. Okay. And go back to go forward, revolve the crux, so that will be rotate the core. Go forward to go back, only now final. Inspect the device closely, seeing how different parts fit the odd instructions. Each step matches a specific part of the device, yet it seems you have to detach the power source to rotate the core of the device, after which you can safely reattach the power source and switch the device on. So follow the instructions to do that. The cube hisses and releases some kind of energy outward through your arms. As it courses through your body, it explores your form somehow. It takes you a moment to realize that as it passed, it left new, unfamiliar memories etched into your mind. These memories appear to have belonged to an ancient automaton craftsman and increase your understanding of all things mechanical. So, law machinery has been increased by 1, so we now are double specialized. We are effectively at level 4 in that skill. The cube itself becomes cold and deadly silent, then begins to fall apart in your hands. You scavenge some valuable bits from the object. So yeah, if I look at my character now, yeah, okay, so that is, yeah, super good at that then. Cool. Alrighty, then what else can we do? Nothing there, but right, so now I can interact with these things. So the piles of Little Niliash perfectly perfectly show the prevailing attitude that the mutants are garbage, only barely to be tolerated. The scent of unidentifiable refuse, leaking organics, and the sharp smell of melted synth combine in a peculiar odor that makes your stomach churn. Something catches your eyes, a glint of metal perhaps, something shiny and dramatically out of place in the ooze and decay. The disgusting garbage pile shifts a number of times as you shove its ordure aside, and the metal you glimpse remains tantalizingly distant. At last, though, you see a broad patch of metallic surface and snatch it before another avalanche of fetid waste collapses over it. It's a helm similar to those worn by the Lascars you've met. And it is broken, lights flicker from the inside, and the helmet intermittently broadcasts short bursts of static of speech, in a female voice. That seems useful. What else? And Crimper was a cool character because of this, right? Aha! Other things to loot. Fleet moss, I'll take it.
Go.
Aha, we can head down here. We'll also just double check that nothing new has happened with Delany or with what's her face? Thank you for waiting. Yep, this is like that. Nothing new though. Heard ya. And then, is there anything cool? Ah, there. Cool. Alright, I'm not gonna cut open any more just yet. Have you come to free her from the cage? Tell me why. Is there anything new here? Nope, nothing. And so we loot this. So our scalpel will let us open more. On the other hand, it really ticks off the bloom. On the other hand, how much do we care about ticking off the bloom? It's only a city-sized organism capable of destroying us. Alright, so I got the Lekar helm. So I'm going to look at that helm. I'm going to possibly talk to the Lekar that are just here. And after that, we'll move on to another area. I said inventory. Thank you. Use item. You examine the helm more closely. It gleams underneath the crusted filth, worked with a skill unmatched in this age. Its crest seems to contain a number of dark black cells that catch and hold the light. Fine traceries in the cells look as if they might gather or disperse energies. It looks as though you could fit it on your head. Let's have a look inside the helmet. The dark, padded interior has some faintly glowing nodules and soft synth fibers, but no visible isolates or breathing apparatus. More importantly, the helm has been collecting rotting garbage and debris for what looks like decades. As you scoop out the sudden mass, you discover fragmented bone, possibly that of the previous owner. You clean the helm as best you can. Closer examination of the interior suggests it connects to the wearer through eye movement tracking. Once it synchronizes with the eye movement, the helm's internal circuitry develops a direct neural connection with its user. You suspect it might also store past users' experiences and observations. Let's try it on. The helm was clearly custom designed for a specific person. You can fit it around your skull with some fierce tugging. The odor of decomposition fills your nostrils, as well as the accumulated filth that blooms trash. It's pitch black in the helmet. No isolates or breathing apparatus are immediately apparent to you, but after a few seconds, a small light begins to blink in the corner of your visual field. As your eye automatically flickers to it, the helmet's air clears, degassing the foul stench. You can feel the air circulating from hidden pumps inside the headpiece. Several unfamiliar symbols light up on the right side of your visual field. Most are dim. One symbol shines brightly. If you had to guess, the dim symbols mark functions unavailable at this time. Let's look at the bright symbol. A grid of small images appears. The bloom, pictures of a starry night sky, images of people. Let's look at the people. The pulsing moist walls of the bloom form the backdrop of all these images, so your guess is the helm's original owner met each of these people during their visits here. You see Dracogen's tall form looming over the smaller man. Dracogen's smile is sharp and fierce, and the threat implicit in the way he holds himself tells you he's about to exact some punishment on his quaking client. The next array of images shows the observant Spec, who looks exactly the same as she does in the current time. The diminutive woman is gesturing dramatically, probably in the midst of telling a story, an animated arm and coy smile shining through the static picture. The final image is of that of three human men. One of them holds aloft a jagged piece of strong glass, its end bloodied. The owner of the helm holds up a hand to ward off another blow. Blood gouts in the air. Look at the images of the night sky. When you look at the first image, it expands outward again, showing a vast grid of other sights. Clearly the owner of the home took great care in recording the images of the ninth world sky. Either she loved the stars desperately, or she was collecting these shots to cross-reference with some other collection.
Making a note.
Have found something, the helm's former owner says. Must be certain. Must return to the anchorage and compare new data with Navigational Cortex archives. Okay. And then look at images of the bloom. Among the many images you see here, you see several that depict places you've been, although the particulars have changed since these images were captured. You suspect years have passed. The first image is that of the vast interior chamber, its pathways and tendrils sprawling across the empty spaces. You see foul gases curling up from the depths, a row of shops and upwardly built homes, and caravans pulled by a Rhin traversing the strands. The courtyard outside the Memavira's fortress seems subtly different, and you look at it for a moment before two observations strike you. First, the uniforms of the guards are quite different from those who serve the current Memavira. You also notice this image was taken from where the Catina's wreckage sits now. The area still looks dingy and dangerous, but the lack of the Catina makes the space seem more open, less oppressed. The next images of the bloom is seen forming a path descending from Sega's cliffs. Sega's cliffs. They already had some sense of its immensity. Its massive bulk momentarily takes your breath away. Wedged into the cleft between two massive escarpments, the bloom is both wide and long, with taut, massive tendrils anchored to the rock face. It looks as if the creature is dragging itself toward the inland sea, very, very slowly. The final images depict little Niliesh, though not as you know it. Most of the people you see are ordinary humans. Garkotto's great tank is nowhere to be seen, the piles of trash are smaller, and the ancient stone buildings still serve as habitations. Though an aura of squalor and disrepair taints the place, you can almost smell the garbage. It seems nearly idyllic in comparison with the current reality. These images must be at least a decade old. That's pretty cool. Let's take the helmet off and put it away. Okay, let's talk to Arechi. Not yet. I had some questions first. Never mind. I'll see what I can do.
You won't notice I'm gone.
So that Moore's dead. We've already done this bit. I don't think we've got anything new to talk to with here, but we might just double check. Because we might have something to do with Little Speck, and once we've checked that, we'll finish up the episode. Don't tell me that's happened. Alright, nope, nothing here. Is this a place of worship? Not really. I leave offerings. Oh, right, yes, I should do that. Not really. People come here to be close to the bloom because its mind is strong here. They leave offerings, valuables they've stolen, trophies of their kills, proof they're hunters, not prey. Does the bloom respond better to thieves and murderers? Sometimes it pays more attention to them. Whether you want the attention of the bloom is another question. Predators is perhaps a better term for it at once. Those who prey likes it prays. Those who pray like it prays. Ah, makes sense. What sort of people leave offerings? Bloom cultists most of all, but it also guides scavengers, merchants who fear to lose their precious cargo, travellers from other worlds, and the Memavira before she lost her favour of the bloom. She'd heap the offering stone with the heads and hands of those she killed. So haughty she was back then. So sure the bloom loved her and would never change. Nothing is forever in the bloom. Are you a leader or a priestess? Me, making speeches, punishing the sinful? No, I am only the speck. They let me stay here. I tell them stories, that is all. Perhaps they think of me that way. Part of their illusion, I suppose. Wait. Actually, I want to know more about you. I'm only a speck, a mote of dust, easily missed. Nothing important save the words I speak, the stories I tell to those who would hear them. But I observe much that passes in the bloom. I still hear whispers. The whispers you hear are the voices of the bloom? So they are. A lot of people hear them, but not as clear as me. How did you lose your arm? I didn't. She did. The first speck. The insignificant one. Alright, then how did she lose her arm? Eaten by the bloom, or was taken in her sleep, cauterized. The elbow, just like... She stops herself, very confused. Just like... You're sure she was about to say mine? Just like the stories say. No, mine wasn't nothing. It was nothing. What was I thinking about? Tell me again how you lost your arm. Okay, I have other questions. More questions about you? Nope. I have more questions about the shrine. More present here, yep. What do the Bloom cultists believe? Dr. Bloom is a god, not a very kind or benevolent one, of course. Some people seek an illusion of safety by redefining the thing they fear. Okay. Other questions? Alright, I think we're done here then. Thanks for watching. I really appreciate you spending the time and effort watching the videos I make. If you'd like to watch more, on the left there should be another video from this playlist. On the right there will be whatever YouTube recommends, and in the center there is a convenient subscribe button just in case you need it.